Hey guys, Andy from McNasty Customs. We're going to go over our newest release here is the Honda Talon X and Honda Talon R floor protection guards, our firewall guards. So we figure we'll make a quick little video showing you, seeing that these are the only guards on the market, how to install them, and how much protection they're going to give you. First part of the install, start on the driver's side. Very first thing you do, remove the bolt and the master cylinder cover off of the little plastic guard. Remove that. Second thing to do, remove the 7 plastic push pins holding your pieces of plastic together. So there's 2 in the back here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you really can loosen it up from the bottom, take the bottom bolt out right here. That's the best way to do it, and you don't have to go any further. If you want to take this plastic off completely, you can take it off completely. You don't really need to, I'm going to show you why. This piece of plastic can stay on. Do not remove this, it's just going to double up and add as more protection to your guard in the first place. So, now that you got your plastic so you can pull it back like this, you just simply take the driver's side guard. You're going to take one of the 6mm bolts from the kit that we supply you, and it's going to go into this hole here, and it's going to go into the lower guard mount, the original plastic guard mount that you took out. You can try to use the factory bolt, or you can use our bolt, whatever you want to do. Pull the plastic, you can do it one at a time. Take the guard, kind of slide it up into place. Pull this first piece of lower plastic down. Pull the second piece of plastic. And now you're going to see a cutout notch right here. This cutout notch goes around this upper piece of plastic. It's going to slide in. You're going to see it. We'll slide it in just so you can see it. It's going to slide in between the two. Real simple. You just get it up into place. You're taking this one bolt, 6mm that we supply, or the factory one, putting it through the hole and into the factory bolt hole for the master cylinder lower guard there. That's it. Now the guard's into place. The next thing to do, this is the easiest way of doing it, we use a quick clamp. Simply hold it in your hand, pull the plastic back, and you're going to lift the guard up until it lines up evenly with the outside of this frame. You're going to line it up. It should follow the frame rail pretty nice all the way around, and this spot right here going across is level. That's it. That guard is in place. Simply take your quick clamp, slide it around your frame, clamp it on. That's it. That guard is sitting in place. Now simply all you want to do is you want to start. If you want to start, you can use the self-tappers from our kit. You can use the M6 bolts and the nutserts, and you can nutsert this in so it's now removable. Now you can use any of these holes, outside holes. You can use the self-tappers we supply to start it and to hold it in place. There's 4 bolts on the outside that you would do this to. You can, now we're obviously doing this quickly for the video. You can remove your quick clamp. You can continue with the self-tappers there, and you can quick clamp this bottom end down here so it's nice and tight, and side one in there. Then you can either leave the self-tappers in if you choose, that's fine. You can remove them one at a time, drill and tap the frame with an M6 tap, that's fine. Or you can use the nutserts and the M6 bolts we supply you, install the nutserts into the frame. We have videos showing you how to do that as well. So that would be the lower section of this guard is already on. Now the second step to the guard is now the upper bracket. This is the upper bracket, very simple. We're going to supply you with bolts to go into the nutserts. All you do is line that up, very simple. Put all 4 bolts in there, snug it up. That's that easy. Now the guard is basically installed. What you want to do after that is snug up all the bolts around the outside, including the one that's in the master cylinder. You can take your plastic master cylinder cover and reinstall it if you choose to. And then you will start installing the plastic plugs. So the one other thing you're going to have to do is right behind this hole, you're going to have to run a drill bit through this hole, in through the plastic, so you can put a plastic plug in there. And when you do that, you got to push it in, you got to play with it, and these are tight, so what I usually do is I hit them with a rubber mallet and set that in. That'll keep that plastic attached to this guard up top for any rattling. And then you basically going to just set all your plastic back into place with your plastic plugs, just like so. Now the one thing in this that I didn't do on the other side yet, so you can see it, but I did do on this side, is the lip. It comes out at a 45-degree angle. I chopped the lip straight off. Just a little 1-inch lip is all I chopped off. You can chop off as much as you want, wherever you want, but that's the cleanest way of doing it. You can slide this together. You put your plastic pin down here, and now these actually push into the new guard. So these 2 bolts, plastic plugs right here, will push into the factory, using the clips, will push into the factory guard. The guard will have factory holes and line everything up. That one will fit as well. And then that is it. This side, the driver's side, is installed. So like I showed you really quick, you put the 4 bolts on the outside. Very first thing you do is you take that bolt and you put it into your master cylinder. You hang the guard up. You put the 4 outside bolts on. You put this in place, the upper bracket, and you put our 4 bolts in. You drill this 1 hole, push the push pin in, and then you can put the push pins in the rest of this. And obviously just figure out where you want to trim this one side, and you chop if you want to make it look exactly like this one, all you do is copy that, come back from the bottom, put your bolt in the bottom, put your 2 push pins in the back side here, and you are complete. Now that we did the driver's side, we're onto the passenger side. It's basically the same thing as what you did on the driver's side. You remove your 9 push pins, your plastic push pins. You got 2 back here. You remove them around, and you remove that 1mm bolt on the bottom of this panel here, and you can pull this back like this. The talon guard on the passenger side is going to be 2 pieces. This is the upper piece, and then you have the lower guard. So first things first, you come in and you have a computer cover right here on the side, right behind the shock. There's 2 bolts. One, there'll be nothing in the frame, and the one below it's holding on this plastic guard. Remove the lower bolt. When you do that, these 2 areas right here are going to more or less get put right into place. So we supply you with some M6 bolts, 10mm head M6 bolts, and you are going to put just the top one in to the guard, come across and put the bolt in the top hole, screw it in slightly, get it not snug, but you know, pretty snug. You know, I mean, you don't want this thing falling around, so don't tighten it up all the way, but get it so you can move the guard around, but it holds its own. You don't have to put the lower in at this point, but we're going to make everything simple here for you. So then the next step to that is you down take the lower guard. Lower guard, you pull the 2 pieces of plastic back, and you can bring the guard from underneath, slide it up. That easy. And you slide this back corner of the hole behind the top cover, and these 2 nutserts are going to go behind this cover. So you can pull this cover out a little bit and slide the whole unit up. Make sure this slot goes on the plastic just like the other side and slides up behind it. There we go. And push your upper to your lower until you can see the nutsert. Very simple. Now you can thread the other one, the second one in. Now you got those threaded in, very easy. You take one M6 bolt and an M6 nut, and you go into the 3rd hole over here, slide the bolt through the hole, and from the back side reach around and you can put the nut on the back. Now everything's just loose and hanging in place. So what you can do at this point is you can take your quick clamp and you can pretty much maneuver this thing around until it's flush with the frame. It sits up against the plastic as high as it's going to sit there, and you can feel on the bottom down here that this corner right here is, when you push it in, is up against the frame. So there's your lower mount. It'll mount on the sides and it mounts to the frame over there. Then you can simply take a self-tapper to start off with, snug the self-tapper up. Obviously, put your other 2 self-tappers in, snug up all your bolts. You can put your plastic cover back on your battery tray over here, your computer tray, and you can put the other M6 that we supply in, and we can have that bolted up. The guard's more or less in place. You come around, you push the guard in from the bottom and snug it up through the frame. You put a nutsert, you could put the self-tapper to start with. You can leave the self-tappers, whatever you want to do. You can drill it, you can put the nutserts we supply in there, whatever you want to do at that point. And you will more or less have this all snugged in, and it'll be frame mounted all the way across. Very simple after that. There is obviously holes in the guard here for the plastic to be once you want to reinstall it. Make sure you get the plastic sitting in place where it wants to be sitting. You can put a plastic push pin in this hole here, so you can connect, push the plastic up into place and connect these two together with the first thing to do is with the push pin. Very simple, just like that. Okay, now we have this push pin installed holding these two pieces of plastic together. At this point, you may want to trim this off. You can draw a straight line and trim it off straight up. You can come up and 45-degree angle and kind of roll it over, round it, whatever you want. You can trim it with a razor blade. You can trim it with a Sawzall 4-inch grinder, any way you want. Plastic tin snips, sheet metal snips, anything you want to trim this off. Come back, start putting all your plastic clips back in, and you can put your 10mm bolt back in the bottom down here. These three push pins are now going to push into the plastic. The plastic is going to go up against our guard, and it's going to push into the holes in our guard. So these three on the front face are now going to clip into our guard. So now that you have the guard bolted to the frame, everything's snug, and all your plastic's back on, the very last thing you're going to do is you're going to come up here, you're going to push the guard all the way against the firewall of the machine, and you're going to send a self-tapper in there. So be careful, pull the trigger, put pressure, and pull the trigger, don't pull the trigger and think you're going to get it in there like Hercules and it's going to go a million miles an hour. Let the thing do its job. Pull the trigger, let it cut, pull the trigger, let it cut, pull the trigger, and it'll cut without overheating it. You pull the trigger and try to jam it in, you're just going to overheat most of the time in certain areas. You're going to overheat the screw, wreck the tip. Just take your time, patience. Push the firewall up against the guard, up against the firewall, and in this last corner hole here, slowly set in your self-tapper, and now completely your passenger side is obviously installed. I guess now all you want to do is, put your tires on and go for a ride. Okay guys, so that's how to install your guards. Last thing we didn't show you is our master cylinder covers. This is an added-on bolt-on if you want it. We have them for the stock machine, where if you don't have firewall guards, you can buy these for $39.99 on a website. And then we have specialized covers that go to the guard set. So if you want the master cylinder guard covering your master cylinder with the guards, you need to order the guards cover. It'll be in the website, we'll know, and we'll send you the guard cover that goes to the master cover that goes to the correct set of guards.